So here we are today at Cemex's Olrewas concrete plant and quarry. I know you like to get around the operations as much as you can. Can you tell me why that's so important to you?
The most important thing to me is to catch up with the people on the sites. We talk about health and safety, we talk about maybe the issues that we've got on the site, how we can improve things, but I think more important than all of that is just to understand how people are feeling. You know, just get an understanding of their well-being, because that has a massive impact on health and safety on the sites as well.
Lex, in a minute I'm going to ask you a few questions, if I may, about the Health and Safety Awards themselves. Before I do that, I know that there's something very personal that you want to share with the audience.
It was February 2009 and I'll never forget the day. It's always in my mind, and we'd had a fatality. A contractor had sadly been crushed underneath a primary crusher in one of our quarries in the northeast of England. I went up to the site that day. I was meeting our health and safety director, Andy Taylor, up there to investigate the accident. We walked into the site, and as you can imagine, it's a very tight community. Everyone was feeling the loss. Gary, who'd sadly passed away, was known to everyone. Everyone knew him, everyone knew his family. Myself and Andy then walked up towards the area where the accident had happened, and as we walked there, it was very dark, it was very misty, it was still, there wasn't a single noise. It was unbelievable, and it really took me by surprise, and really put me into a real emotional place, and at that stage you start to think, you know, it's you know, for a fatality here, what's the impact of the fatality? Gary was the same age as myself and Andy on the site. We were all in our early 40s at the time. Gary had 2 children. I've got 2 boys. Andy's got 2 boys, and it just made me think about that loss, and how that had impacted not just Gary, who had sadly lost his life, but his whole family and all his friends. And a few days after the event, it was my youngest son Stuart's birthday, and all my thoughts before this had happened were leading up to the birthday party, what we were going to do, presents we were going to give, and how excited he was for his birthday. And I thought, you know, Gary and his family won't get that, they won't get to experience that. It was a massive marker in my life, and from that day on, I didn't want anyone in our industry to have to go through that pain and suffering that comes from a major accident in a quarry or one of our sites. So from then on, I became a huge advocate of health and safety, and looking after people, looking after the well-being, and making sure that people that work in our industry or who are attached to our industry go home at night, and they go home well, they go home safe, and they go home to their loved ones.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for that, Lex. Very sort of poignant words, and obviously something that's impacted on you personally very greatly. I'd just like to talk to you a little bit about the board of MPA and council. What are their views on the importance of sharing?
It's our #1 priority, and everyone, whether it be in the council and the board, are all very passionate about health and safety. You know, making sure that everyone comes to work and goes home safe at night. There was a time we can both remember where our industry was deemed as being an unsafe place to work, and we were compared to North Sea fishing. You know, and we've moved a long way since these days, and that's because we share good practice together, we share learnings together, and we move the industry forward. You know, now we're not looked at in the same way as we were before. We're now looked as a safe and a good place to come to work and have a good career.
When incidents do occur, what sort of things should people think about sharing?
Well, for a lot of really good cases recently where member companies and actually members of the board have shared incidents, not just in the UK,
Absolutely.
but incidents that have happened globally. And as soon as we've shared these things, the pennies dropped. Oh, my site, you know, that could happen there, you know, and we've all gone away and had a look at how we could improve our own places of work. And when we talk about sharing incidents, it's not just accidents that happen, high potential incidents that have happened, and you know, what can we learn from them? So why have they happened? You know, what are the circumstances that have happened? What can we do next time to make sure that they never happen again? How can we keep our people safe from these things happening? Changing our culture to one that we want to share these incidents, so in the interest of the whole industry, we become safer. That's so important.
And moving on then to the Health and Safety Awards themselves, what role do you think that they play?
I love to come along to the Health and Safety Awards and see the difference that everyone in our industry, it doesn't matter from a small site to a large site, small company, large company, it doesn't matter. Everyone's coming up with these improvements and we're sharing them now, and it's making a huge difference to our industry. So that's the first part, seeing all the good practices and learnings that we can share. The second part is the recognition, because it's all about people.
After people have finished watching this event today, what do you hope that they'll go away and do?
I hope that people take in some of the ideas that we've learned today and think how we can apply them to their own workplace, you know, how we can use these ideas to make our own workplace safer. And then from there, who can I share these ideas with? You know, which one of my colleagues, how far can we share them? And you know, not just in the local area, across whole organisation, who can I share these ideas with to make our workplace safer? And then I would put an extra challenge on top of that. Some of these things we can take home as well, outside of the workplace. So think about that as well. So think about everything I've learned today and who I can share these ideas with to make us all much healthier and safer.
Thank you, Lex.